While in Tasmania, I dropped in on Matt and Iefke, who are building a boat by the river. It's a 40-foot cutter designed by Paul Gartside. They're building it strip planked over laminated frames with diagonal planking over that, and it'll be heavily glassed. I'm jealous of the room they've got in an old apple crate making shed outside Glen Huon. You picked a pretty substantial boat.
Yeah.
Why was that?
I actually wanted to redesign it to 45 foot. I redrew all the table of offsets while I was living in the Netherlands because I was convinced that I couldn't fit the tender on the cabin.
Okay, designing a boat around the tender.
Well, it's funny things like that. If you can't fit your tender on the cabin, it can dictate a lot of things.
And we didn't want a big cabin. It had to be proportional to the size of the boat. So you want that traditional look where you have the cabin skylight hatch.
Well, like the Hesses, you know.
Yeah.
But the 40 foot was, that was sort of the range. I always wanted to get over 40 foot with our boat so that I know we can have enough room, but not to be too substantial a vessel that you can't control with a couple.
Yep.
You know, this is border, you know, you see 48 footers and you're like, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot to control.
And we spoke to other families or couples that were cruising and they said, bigger is not always better. So go back to that 40 foot.
Yeah.
So I think, that we did choose a substantial boat, but we want to go substantially cruising. So
sure, yeah.
I think the areas where we want to go is dictated also a bit this kind of boat we wanted to build. So strong and comfortable boat.
I loved Lyle Hesses, obviously. Always adored those types of boats. And this was close to it, but, you know, longer, obviously.
Yeah.
And I always wanted a pilot cutter, so there we are.
Sort of met in the middle, but we also wanted a modern build. We didn't want to deal with traditional building because we were obviously apprehensive being amateur boat builders of our level of skill. And everywhere I read, strip planking was sort of the best way for an amateur to get into it. And we have learnt so much to get, if we did it again, you know, there's always a hindsight. Could have done it differently here, could have done it, but you just got to keep going.
Yep. You'll just take a little bit longer to do it than you would have if you picked a smaller one.
Yeah, well, and it's funny that, like, a couple of feet adds a lot more work.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't believe it, but every foot.
Yeah, well, it's the cube, cube of the waterline length.
Yeah. And she's a big boat, you know, she's not narrow, she's quite wide, very deep. Trying to move in segments a little bit. So last one was obviously the saloon and the galley. And then we want to move aft now to the quarter berth. But to do that, we need to get the engine in to work out the space, you know, and how the systems and the engineering side is going to fit into all this, and batteries and all that kind of thing. See, we've cut a hole up there for our feet. So our feet will actually protrude into the heads where we'll have a shower, just to get a bit of space in the saloon. You know, it's all a compromise.
How did you want?
What are you doing, mate?
Hey, come and have a look.
Yeah.
They're already well further along than these shots taken in February 2023. They've finished planking and the first deck plywood is on. Check out their YouTube channel, A Boat by the River, and check out my other videos on Smithy's Boat Shed channel.